All right, folks, welcome back to our Rich Dad, Poor Dad journey with Robert Kiyosaki and Sharon Lechter. Today, we're diving into Chapter 2, where we get Lesson 2, Why Teach Financial Literacy? This chapter's like a wake-up call, shaking you out of the just earn more mindset and into a smarter way of thinking about money. I'm thrilled to break it down for you, imagining us chatting over a coffee about how to keep cash, not just chase it. Money's not the whole story. Picture this. You're raking in millions, but a few years later, you're broke, busted, or worse. That's the grim reality Chapter 2 opens with, telling the tale of 1920s tycoons who crashed hard after the Great Depression. It's a gut punch that sets the stage for the big idea. It's not how much money you make, it's how much you keep. Right off the bat, I'm hooked, wondering how even the richest can fall so far, and what I can do to avoid that trap. The big picture: build a foundation, not a fantasy. Chapter 2 is all about why financial literacy is the key to lasting wealth. Robert shares where he and Mike are years later. Mike's running his dad's empire like a boss, and Robert's retired at 47, his wealth growing on autopilot. Why? Because they learned early to focus on keeping money, not just earning it. The chapter argues that schools skip this lesson, leaving even smart, hardworking people clueless about cash flow. Most folks think more money solves everything, but without financial smarts, it's like pouring water into a leaky bucket. The core rule here is simple but game-changing. Know the difference between an asset and a liability, and buy assets. Assets put money in your pocket. Liabilities take it out. Sounds basic, but Robert says most people mess it up, buying liabilities, like a house they think is an asset, and wondering why they're stuck in the rat race. Through simple diagrams, he shows how the rich build wealth by piling up assets that generate income, while the middle class drowns in expenses and debt. It's a call to rethink money, measure wealth by how long you can survive without a paycheck, and start building a financial foundation that lasts. Key moments and themes, from tycoons to truths. This chapter's got moments that make you pause and think. It kicks off with the 1923 story of America's richest men, guys like Charles Schwab and Jesse Livermore, who had it all but ended up penniless, insane, or worse by 1948. It's a chilling reminder that money without knowledge is fleeting, especially with booms and busts looming. I'm already scribbling notes, thinking about how today's crypto bros or tech moguls could face the same fate if they're not careful. Then there's Robert's update on himself and Mike. Mike's running a business empire, grooming his son to take over, while Robert's chilling in retirement, his assets growing like a well-watered tree. It's inspiring but grounded. Retirement isn't about quitting work. It's about freedom to choose. The real meat comes with Rich Dad's lesson to young Robert and Mike on assets versus liabilities. Using kid-friendly drawings, he explains that assets, like investments, bring cash in, while liabilities, like cars or big houses, bleed cash out. It's so simple, it's almost silly, but Robert admits they had to stop and chew on it. And I'm right there with them, rethinking my own spending. Another standout is the story of the young couple trapped in the rat race. They start happy, earning 2 incomes, but as their pay rises, so do taxes, debt, and expenses. New house, car, furniture, baby, credit cards. It's like watching a hamster wheel spin faster, and it hits home. The chapter wraps with a definition of wealth from Buckminster Fuller: how many days you can survive without working. It's a practical yardstick that makes you rethink what rich means, not a fat bank account, but cash flow that covers your life. Themes: financial literacy as freedom, assets as the path to wealth, and the danger of following the crowd. Robert hammers that schools teach job skills, not money skills, leaving even doctors or lawyers broke. He also warns against emotional spending, fear of keeping up, or greed for status traps most people. I'm nodding along, thinking how often I've bought stuff just to feel good, not to build wealth. Emotions and conflicts, hope versus hard reality. Chapter 2 stirs up a mix of emotions that keep you glued. There's a sobering chill from the tycoon's downfall. Imagine being on top of the world, then nothing. It's a warning that feels urgent, like a friend grabbing your arm to stop you from tripping. But there's hope, too, in Robert and Mike's success. Knowing they went from kids to financially free adults makes you believe it's possible, even if the path's not easy. The conflict's subtle but real. It's you versus your own habits. Robert's arguing against the work hard, buy a house, get a raise script we're all fed. When he calls a house a liability, not an asset, it's like he's poking a sacred cow. My parents would have gasped. There's tension in unlearning what society preaches, especially when he describes the young couple's spiral into debt. It's not them against the world, it's them against their own choices, driven by fear of looking less than. I felt a pang recognizing myself in their story, chasing short-term wins over long-term gains. There's also a quiet defiance in Robert's tone. He and Mike drifted from classmates by 16, learning from Rich Dad's unfiltered wisdom while school pushed conformity. It's inspiring but lonely. Choosing the mirror of self-knowledge over the crowd's approval takes guts. I'm left fired up to question my own money moves. Character development. Robert grows wiser, we follow. Robert's our guide. And in Chapter 2, he's less a kid and more a reflector, looking back on lessons that shaped him. He's not bragging about retiring at 47. He's showing what's possible with the right foundation. His growth is in his clarity. He's distilled Rich Dad's teachings into simple truths anyone can use. Mike's a side note, running the empire with skill, but his success reinforces the lesson. Financial literacy works. Rich Dad shines as the mentor, turning boring accounting into kid-friendly pictures. His KISS, keep it simple, stupid approach is genius. Those diagrams are burned in my brain now. Poor Dad's a contrast, stuck in the rat race despite his smarts. His house a liability he calls an asset. It's not a jab at him, it's a lesson for us. I see myself in Robert, wanting to shift from chasing paychecks to building assets, but knowing it's a mental leap. My take, this chapter's a game changer. Wow, Chapter 2 is a slap of truth with a side of hope. The tycoon story scared me straight. Money's not enough without smarts. But Rich Dad's asset versus liability rule is so clear, it's like a cheat code for wealth. Those diagrams? Pure gold. They make you see cash flow in a new way. I love how Robert doesn't just preach. He shows the rat race through that couple's story, making it painfully relatable. I'm guilty of thinking a bigger paycheck would fix everything, and this chapter's got me rethinking every purchase. If I had one tiny wish, it'd be more on how Robert and Kim built their assets. Specific examples would have been juicy. But honestly, the simplicity here is the power. It's not about fancy math. It's about shifting your focus to what brings money in. I'm already eyeing my budget, wondering what I can cut to buy my first asset. This chapter's not just a lesson, it's a blueprint for freedom. Takeaways. Keep your money, grow your wealth. What's the big lesson? Financial literacy is your ticket out of the rat race. No assets from liabilities. Buy what puts money in your pocket, not what drains it. A house might feel like an asset, but if it's eating your cash, it's a trap. Wealth isn't your bank balance. It's how long your assets can keep you afloat without a job. Start small, think smart, and question the work harder myth. The rich get richer because they invest in assets, not bigger bills. What do you all think? Ever caught yourself buying a liability thinking it was an asset? Maybe a car or gadget that cost more than it gave back? Or have you started building your asset column? Tell me about it. Drop your stories below, and let's keep this money smart convo rolling on Bookpeckers.